The story of binding. So I've made a few mistakes, a lot of mistakes, but it's okay because it's experience. But yeah, definitely a lot of regrets that I've had over the years, and one of them was binding. So binding is basically when you need to get your chest flat for either cosplaying the opposite gender or a lot of, if you're transgender, a lot of, it'll be a lot of binding involved, but, so cosplayers go through this a lot, right? So when I first wanted to start binding, I looked up on how to do it, and the number one thing that everybody said was, do not use ace bandages, just don't do it. And I decided, I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use ace bandages. It's probably not bad. No, that was a mistake. It was an awful mistake. And I was cosplaying Superboy from DC Comics for an event that me and my friend went to, where artists would go and draw cosplayers, and you'd have to stand there in a certain position for a long time, and they'd draw you. So I decided to use the handy dandy ace bandages, and I stood there for 3 hours with my chest wrapped, and by the end of the 3 hours, I couldn't breathe properly. My chest was being really constricted. My ribs were actually burning up, and I was lucky enough to not have to go to a doctor or anything. But if I would have been in the ace bandages longer, I could have caused serious damage to my back as well to my ribs. It's just, you're not supposed to use it for binding, so just don't do it. They say don't do it for a reason. So that was one thing I learned from that. So another regret I had with binding was the good old open chest binding. Now, this is if you want to crossplay, but and you want like to have an open shirt with it, and it's just basically, it's a really good method, and it looks really cool, but you have to know how to do it. So when I first tried this, I tried looking up a tutorial, and they said exactly how to do it, what tape to use, how to do it properly without injuring yourself, how to take it off properly without injuring yourself. And I watched this video, and I just kind of went, cool, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna do any of that. I'm gonna do the opposite of what this video just told me to do, because I'm dumb, and I do dumb things. So I took masking tape, just masking tape, and no coverage like they said to take like tissue paper or anything to cover up sensitive areas. Didn't do that either, just kind of taped it all down. It was great. And yeah, I got all the tape on, and I put my vest and makeup and did my costume or whatever, and I felt good. And then I proceeded to drive 4 hours to the convention, because it was down at Corpus Christi, and I'm from Austin, so it's a 4-hour drive down there, and I drove it all with all the character and binding and everything, and I got there, then spent the entire day, because that was around noon when I got there, so I spent the entire day in this binding method. And another thing they said not to do was to go longer than like 5 hours with it, so I'm a smart person. So by the end of the night, when the rave was happening at the convention, my chest started hurting, and I was like, I should probably take this stuff off. So I went to the bathroom and proceeded to peel off the tape while in tears, and pulling off my skin with it. It really looked like it was like a murder scene happening, just like all over myself, because there was blood, there was like these giant welts and scars, and skin was just coming off. It was so horrible, and that's what I get for not binding properly. So listen to that, kids. Bind properly. Listen to me and don't do what I did. But yeah, it was a horrible experience, and I still have some scars to prove it. But I did learn from the experience, and I learned proper methods and my own methods on how to do things. like binding and things, especially open chest. I've improved a method for myself, which is great. So yeah, it's been an adventure, a painful adventure.